You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.
The options market can be a confusing place. Sorting through the daily avalanche of data, alerts, updates, articles, and analysis to find the most important information is an overwhelming prospect. But now you have help. Welcome to the Options News Rundown, the only program that breaks through the noise to bring you the most important news and information from the world of options. Every day we bring you the top 5 option stories curated by the options experts at theoptionsinsider.com, the premier source for free options information. The Options News Rundown is brought to you by Market Taker Mentoring, the leader in option trader education. Get trader education, daily trade ideas, and more with a free 1-week trial of Market Taker Mentoring's live Advantage group coaching class by visiting markettaker.com/insider. And now it's time to break through the noise. It's time for your Options News Rundown.
Good morning. Today is Friday, August 3rd, 2018. This is your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli. Our first story today is from investing.com. It's the top 5 things to know in the market on Friday. First thing to know is wages are in focus because of the jobs report. The U.S. Labor Department will release the non-farm payrolls report for July at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Friday. It will be watched more for what it says about wages than hiring. The consensus forecast is that the data will show jobs growth of 193,000 after adding 213,000 positions in June, while the unemployment rate is seen inching down to 3.9% from 4%. However, most of the focus will likely be on average hourly earnings figures, which are expected to rise 0.3%, a tad faster than the 0.2% increase a month earlier. On an annualized basis, wages are forecast to increase 2.7%, the same gain reported in June. The second thing to note today is Japan overtakes China as the world's second largest stock market as tariffs weigh. Chinese stocks have been pummeled by worries over tariffs, losing $2.29 trillion in value since January, and falling into third place among the world's biggest stock markets. As of Thursday's close, Bloomberg data showed that Chinese equities were worth $6.09 trillion, falling below the $6.16 trillion value of Japanese shares. U.S. stocks remain the biggest market at $31 trillion. The escalation of trade tensions between the U.S. and Beijing has sent Chinese stocks on a nosedive, along with the yuan. Third thing to note today is U.S. futures are cautious ahead of jobs report. U.S. futures pointed to a flat open on Friday as traders switched to a cautious stance ahead of the jobs report. A day earlier, the NASDAQ composite ended with gains of 1.24%. Boosted by buying furor in Apple that took the tech giant's market cap beyond the $1 trillion mark. The fourth thing to note today is earnings season winds down. The bulk of second quarter earnings have already hit the wires, and more than 80% of the S&P firms that have already reported have beaten profit estimates. Just 8 S&P firms release earnings on Friday, but that will take the total so far to 406, or 81%. Still, investors will likely look to a few names expected to release quarterly reports ahead of trading on Friday. Kraft Heinz is expected to report a quarterly profit of 92 cents per share on sales of about $6.6 billion. And the fifth thing to note today is oil prices waver ahead of U.S. shale production data. U.S. prices wavered in early morning trade on Friday passing between gains and losses, as a reported drop in inventories at a key delivery point in the U.S. boosted sentiment, but investors awaited data on U.S. drilling activity amid concerns of escalating production. Our second story today is from NASDAQ.com. China's UNOPEC suspends U.S. oil imports as trade spat intensifies. China's UNOPEC, the trading arm of state oil major Sinopec, has suspended crude oil imports from the United States due to a growing trade spat between Washington and Beijing, three sources familiar with the situation said on Friday. The sources declined to be identified as they're not authorized to speak to the media. UNOPEC and Sinopec, Asia's largest refiner and biggest buyer of U.S. oil, did not respond to requests for comments. Chinese buyers had already slowed their purchases of U.S. oil to avoid a likely import tariff threatened by Beijing amid the escalating trade dispute between the world's two largest economies. Beijing has put U.S. energy products, including crude oil and refined products, on a list of goods it will hit with a 25% import tax in retaliation for similar moves by Washington. It is not said when it will impose the tariffs. Our third story today is from CNBC.com. It's a big number we've been waiting for. Payrolls rise 157,000, missing expectations, but overall picture is still strong. Total non-farm payrolls increased by 157,000 for the month, below the 190,000 expected in a Reuters survey of economists, and the lowest gain since March. The unemployment rate fell 0.1 of a percentage point to 3.9% as expected. The average hourly earnings increased 2.7% over the same period a year ago, and previous month's jobs numbers were revised substantially higher. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is news you can use. For today, Friday, August 3rd, 2018, your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli. Trade smart and have a nice weekend.
Thank you for listening to the Options News Rundown. To learn more about these stories or any other developments from the world of options, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com, the premier source for free options information. The Options News Rundown is brought to you by Market Taker Mentoring, the leader in option trader education. Get trader education, daily trade ideas, and more with a free 1-week trial of Market Taker Mentoring's live Advantage group coaching class by visiting markettaker.com/insider.
The preceding program was a production of the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions@theoptionsinsider.com.